So very quickly to conclude, let's take a few characteristics of good investors. A good investor takes the trouble to obtain basic knowledge about personal finance and personal investment. If you have made use of some of these lectures, if you ask Deepak Rao how you can access his website free of cost, so far he has not charged people for this, how you can listen to some of the lectures, how you can read some of the good articles he has written or he has put up there, you are exhibiting the character of a good investor. The good investor obtains basic knowledge about personal finance and investment. When you obtain the knowledge, you rise to the next level. I've got the knowledge. Now this knowledge helps me to be very clear about my objectives. So the good investor has the knowledge, knows the objectives. Next, the good investor knows where her or his money is deployed to meet the objectives. It's a step-by-step build-up. I get the knowledge, I draw a plan. Third step is the deployment. What's deployment? Implementation of the plan. Knowledge, plan, implementation. A good investor does not constantly tinker with investments. I don't keep on changing things. In fact, if I keep on changing, my plan is not good. Most good investment plans hardly require any change. And if there is a change, then there is a good reason for the change. A sudden, totally unexpected change in a taxation law, that may require a change in your investment, not for any other reason, not because the market went up or market went down, not for that reason. Sudden government policy, a law changes, a tax rate changes, or something that was tax-free now becomes taxable, then we need to rethink, not otherwise. A good investor has a sound investment plan and sticks to it. Perseverance, self-discipline is very important. So in this one slide, you get all the hallmarks of a good investor. A good investor takes some trouble to get the basic knowledge. That already all I've done. Next is to have an investment plan. Either you do it or you consult a good advisor. Third, implement the plan. Many times you may be capable of doing it on your own. A good advisor can guide you even with better implementation. Then you look at your own plan. If the advisor is constantly advising you to change this, change that, get rid of this, buy that, be very careful. If the advisor is saying on the other hand, just stick to it. Keep on doing what you're doing. You are into a good plan. Don't stop. Don't get scared temporary fluctuations. If the markets are going down, you may be a little depressed because your portfolio values are going down. But understand that your next purchase is also at the lower level. And the lower you purchase, the higher will be your future return. The higher you purchase, the lower will be your future return. That's what we have to understand. And when a good advisor gives you advice like this, stick to it, persevere, think long term, segregate your money between short-term needs and long-term needs, choose your investments accordingly. At that time, if you listen and implement, all these are the hallmarks of good investing and good investors. Individuals who ignore financial and investment planning will be hit by inflation, fluctuating interest rates, taxes, and increased risk levels. They will also miss out on better investment avenues and strategies. Let not this happen to you. That kind of awareness, all that is very good. Remember the aims, use the tools. It is not where you invest that is important, but how you invest. Okay, it is not, is it a ULIP, is it an equity mutual fund, is it a tax saving instrument like PPF? No. Those are all only means to an end. What is important is my plan. Now I use those to fashion the plan. The finished product is important, not the tools. Why? The tools have got a limited utility. It is to help you make the product. It's the product that's important. And in this case, it's the plan that's important. So it is not where you invest that is important, but how you invest. Where you invest is, okay, some small savings agent comes, put money here. I put money. The good way to invest is, how to invest is, okay, I am investing according to these principles, these tools, this plan. The avenue of investment is not important. The technique of investment is important. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Our whole objective here is to give you a very sound theoretical framework. And let me understand what I mean by this word theoretical framework. Very often we use this word theory, thinking that theory and practice, two totally different things. This theory is not standalone theory. This is theory that has been worked back from practice. So everything has a practical implication. So once you understand this, you can stand firm. I've got so many people who have understood these kind of things, been to my courses. Whenever some insurance agent or banker or other people are trying to sell them something, immediately they will start cross-examining them. And suddenly the other party will fall silent. Oh, okay, here's somebody who knows much more than we do. So that's where you stand for something. If you don't, okay, because the banker is telling me I'll put something, you'll fall for anything or everything for that matter. One more thing to understand about investment is a lifelong activity. What do I mean by lifelong? Where the implementation part is concerned, it probably starts when you start earning. It does not end when you retire. It will only end with your lifetime, because there are a lot of people who continue investing even after their retirement. If they have invested to 35, 40 years of working life, they will have accumulated so much that they still need to look after their investments and make fresh investments, because the income that they are earning on their investments is far in excess of their expenditure. So this is something that you have to understand. It's a marathon. It is not a 100-meter sprint. Learning as well as looking after your investments, but the good news is it does not need too much of effort. It does not need too much of time. It needs a certain amount of regular oversight. It's not strenuous. It's not stressful. The opposite is stressful. Speculation is very stressful. Bad planning is very stressful. The ultimate objective of good investing is to obtain above average returns at below average risk. You cannot never obtain the maximum returns. You can never have something that's totally risk-free. If risk and return are a flat line, what we are going to try to do is shift that flat line slightly in the other direction. Which direction? Where returns go slightly above average, risk we push down slightly below average. If we can do this much, it is more than enough. You don't need to do anything more than this. As Warren Buffett says, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree many years ago. You start something, many times not only will you benefit, not only will your spouse benefit, even the generation that comes after you will benefit. And this has one very important implication. If you are a good investor and you are a successful investor and you have built up good investments, more than you need, you may do a little charity with it, you may pass it on to the next generation, but the implication is that you also have a responsibility to educate the generation that comes after you how to responsibly handle that money. Very often we see good wealth built up by one generation totally squandered by the next generation. So personal investment planning will also include understanding that there is a responsibility for us to convey the knowledge we have had, the techniques that we have used, the expertise and experience that we have gained to the next generation, so that wealth remains, is not squandered, is used correctly. And the message also has to be conveyed to the next generation that they in turn, when their time comes, have to pass it on. That's very important. Thank you.